Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take complex topics, dig through the sources, and pull out the key insights, the practical stuff, and maybe some surprising ideas too. Today, we're jumping into something really fundamental, self-awareness. Our main guide here is the work of Dr. Surya M Ganduri, PhD, PMP. It's quite profound stuff, really looking at this core part of being human, our goal. To unpack it all for you, find that practical wisdom, those maybe unexpected facts that can genuinely shift how you see things. You know that feeling, right? That constant juggle, trying to keep work life and home life balanced. Especially now, things feel so uncertain, economically, socially, can be really stressful. You feel like you're just running on a treadmill. But what if, as Dr. Ganduri's work suggests, we're maybe think about that whole balance thing the wrong way?
Exactly. That's a great starting point because we're going to sort of redefine what balance even means today. We'll look at the different parts of ourselves, how self-awareness isn't just personal growth, but actually fuels leadership, real, authentic leadership. And we'll even connect science and spirituality, which might sound like separate worlds, but maybe they aren't. This isn't just abstract theory. It's about tools, actual tools for bringing more, well, harmony, joy, and success into your life.
Okay, let's get into it then. We hear, know thyself, Socrates' ancient wisdom. We all kind of know that phrase.
Yeah.
But what did self-awareness really mean in this context, according to Dr. Ganduri?
Well, it's more than just navel-gazing, right? Dr. Ganduri really hammers home this point. Without that honest look inside, you're stuck repeating the same patterns, the same results, over and over.
Right, you can't fix what you don't see.
Precisely. And psychologically speaking, it's seen as a kind of intelligence. Understanding your own knowledge, your attitudes, opinions, recognizing you're an individual, separate thoughts from others. And Daniel Goleman, the emotional intelligence guy, he defines it as the ability to recognize your moods, emotions, drives, and crucially, how they affect other people. He calls it the #1 part of EI, emotional intelligence.
Okay, so it's foundational.
Absolutely. And the source breaks it down into 3 specific capabilities. First is self-confidence. But this isn't about being arrogant. It's a positive but also realistic view of your abilities. You see assertiveness, optimism, enthusiasm, maturity. Balance is key, though. Too much is arrogance, too little is insecurity. Both get in the way.
Makes sense. What's next?
Second is accurate self-assessment. This is huge. Being really aware of your strengths and your weaknesses, actively looking for feedback, learning when you mess up, knowing when you need help from someone with different skills. Apparently, this was found in pretty much every single star performer they looked at.
Wow. So it's not about pretending you know everything.
Not at all. It's about knowing what you don't know. And the third one is emotional self-awareness. This is recognizing your feelings and understanding how they impact your performance, your decisions. The better you get at this, the more you can choose whether to accept parts of yourself or work on changing them. You're less likely to just be shaped by, external pressures.
So putting it all together, why is this so important for you listening? What does increasing self-awareness actually do for you?
It really comes down to living more intentionally, making decisions you feel genuinely good about, not just reacting. It improves relationships because you understand your own part in them better. It builds resilience, helps you set goals that actually matter to you. Ultimately, like the source says, it's about living the life you want for yourself, living your values, and realizing your dreams.
And it's not selfish.
No, that's a key point. It actually lets you give more of yourself to other people because you're giving from a place of authenticity, not obligation or depletion. You know what you truly have to offer.
Okay, if it's that beneficial, why is it so darn difficult for so many of us? What stops people? What are the barriers Dr. Ganduri points out?
Yeah, it's tough. The source lists several big ones. First, just societal conditioning. We're taught to conform, color between the lines.
Fit in.
Right. And in doing that, a lot of people kind of lose themselves. Then there's fear, dealing with past hurts, betrayals, whether from strangers or people close to you. It's hard to be vulnerable again after that.
Understandable.
And on the flip side, facing your own mistakes, times you've hurt others, that makes it hard to open up to. Plus, you've got the constant media barrage of perfection. These images that are, let's be honest, impossible to live up to.
Creates a lot of pressure.
Exactly. And finally, letting go of what others expect, parents, bosses, mentors. Finding your own identity often means letting go of their vision for you.
So the message really is, to gain this awareness, you need to look inwards. Ask those deep questions, like what really excites you? When do you feel genuinely happy, relaxed? And maybe just as important, when or with whom do you feel drained, sad, depressed? The source even suggests, actively trying to limit or cut out situations that consistently drain you.
It takes effort, for sure. Time, practice, and patience, as they say. But the potential rewards, well, they sound well worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's pivot a bit to this idea of balance. You mentioned earlier Dr. Ganduri has a different take on the whole work-life balance struggle.
Yes, this is a really core insight from her work. The usual way we frame it, work versus life, is flawed. Why? Because both work and home are actually on the same side of the scale. They're both part of your outer life.
Huh. Okay, so work and home are outer life. What's the other side then?
The inner life. That's the real balancing act between outer and inner.
All right, unpack that. What constitutes the outer life?
The outer life is basically everything external. The material world. It's where we deal with all the complex logistics and daily stresses. Think about it, your emails, errands, bills, career stuff, family duties, social media. It's the tangible world out there. It requires managing things, people, tasks.
Got it. So the inner life is?
Your internal world. Your private thoughts, your core values, your emotions, the raw ones, the processed ones, fantasies, spiritual practices if you have them, your deep desires, your sense of purpose. A successful inner life, according to the source, isn't about never feeling bad. It's about emotional regulation, self-awareness, clarity on values, being able to find mental, quiet, calm, focus, and resilience.
And what's the danger if that balance gets thrown off, if we neglect the inner life?
Well, that's when you become really vulnerable to stress, first off, and the source links stress to something like 70% of illnesses, which is huge.
Wow.
Yeah. And also insecurity, anger, finding it hard to make decisions. It can even lead to self-destructive patterns. You get pulled off balance, possibly to the point of no return. It's a serious warning.
So can you give an example, like where people try to fix an inner problem with an outer solution without realizing it?
Oh, absolutely. A classic one is chasing external validation. Thinking a promotion or more money or more likes online will make you feel fundamentally worthy or happy.
Right, the hedonic treadmill idea.
Exactly. You get the thing, there's a brief high, but if the inner stuff, the insecurity, the lack of self-worth isn't addressed, the feeling doesn't last, you're just looking for the next external hit.
Okay, so strengthening the inner life is key. What does that give you?
It builds what the source calls healthy, positive control, a solid moral core. It helps you bring your inner and outer selves into harmony. That inner strength helps you choose better. It gives you that calm and centeredness to know which demands or temptations from the outer world align with your values and which ones you should maybe let go. It helps you spot the difference, the gap between your true self, your inner values, and the choices you make based on conditioning the false self. It's about authenticity and action.
This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So how do we actually cultivate this balance across our lives? Dr. Ganduri outlines these 11 dimensions. That sounds like a lot to juggle.
It does, but they provide a really useful map. Let's break them down. There are 8 for the outer life and 3 for the inner life. So under outer life, first, there's work life, which itself has 4 parts. One is people, developing those crucial people skills, communication, empathy, inspiration, handling conflict. The source stresses these aren't soft skills, they take real effort and skill. Successful people blend these with technical skills.
Right, not just optional extras.
Definitely not. Second is productivity. And here, it's not just about doing more stuff faster, it's about the significance and meaning of what you do. Forget just learning techniques. You need to reprogram your mind, deal with subconscious blocks, get your conscious and subconscious working together.
Okay, deeper than just time management hacks.
Much deeper. Third is execution actions, tasks. The source uses the term karma here, drawing on that idea of action. It should be purposeful, ideally dedicated to something beyond just personal gain. Objectivity is key focus on doing the action well, detached from the outcome. True happiness, it says, lies in the right action, not just the result. Self-control, gratitude, also important.
Detaching from results.
Yeah.
That's hard in our results-driven world.
It is, but powerful. Fourth under work life is leadership and influencing. This is about adapting your style, understanding your impact, not just forcing or tricking people. It even brings in Robert Cialdini's famous weapons of influence, things like reciprocity, we feel obliged to return favors, social proof, we follow the crowd, liking, we're influenced by people we like, authority, scarcity. Understanding these helps you influence ethically.
Okay, that covers work life. What about the other outer life dimensions?
Right, then we have home life, also with 4 dimensions. First, family. How we navigate family reflects our ability to handle abundance and build relationships. It needs spiritual commitment and relationship skills. The source talks about stages of love child, sibling, partner, parent, all shaping us. The aim is moving from self-centeredness to a more caring, connected individualism.
A big shift.
Huge. Second is social, important for personal and professional growth. Includes managing situations, stress, problems, disputes, communication, basically how you navigate your wider social world. Third, financial. The source uses ARDHA. Especially for entrepreneurs, there's a risk of blurring personal and business money. Signs of imbalance, poor sleep, weight gain, short temper, solutions. Keep finances separate, have a life plan, make time for personal growth.
Practical advice there.
And fourth, under home life, is ethics and beliefs, termed dharma. Values, morals, ethics, all connected. Ethical balance means having core values, perspective, flexible, not rigid, taking responsibility, having consistent character, being ready for ethical challenges.
Okay, those are the 8 outer life dimensions. Now for the inner life.
Yes, the 3 inner life dimensions. These are your internal foundations. First, the body. Your physical self, your vehicle, it has innate wisdom. Listen to it, nourish it. The source even suggests things like nice lighting, music during meals, creating a mindful connection.
Appreciating the physical.
Exactly. Second, the mind. This is your decision maker, the creator of your current experience. Conscious mind is easier to train, but the subconscious holds all those old learned behaviors. And there's a great line, the mind loves to solve problems, so it will complicate your life to the point of utter exhaustion.
I think we can all relate to that sometimes.
Right. So improvement involves learning, but also tackling those subconscious patterns. And third, spirit soul. This is the realm of faith, hope, joy, peace, love, contentment. Here, the advice is interesting. Let your spirit improve you, rather than you trying to work on it like the body or mind. It's about connecting to purpose, potential, that drive to contribute something beyond yourself.
Wow, that's a comprehensive map. 11 dimensions. It really shows how interconnected everything is. You also mentioned some simple daily practices Dr. Ganduri suggests.
Yes, because this doesn't have to be overwhelming. Small things add up. For body awareness, simple body scans, just checking in with physical sensations. For thought awareness, journaling, getting thoughts out of your head and onto paper. For emotional awareness, that 90-second rule, pausing before reacting to strong emotions. Give the physiological response time to pass.
That sounds really useful. Pausing instead of just lashing out.
It makes a huge difference. For action awareness, set intentions before you do something significant. Why am I doing this? And for spiritual awareness, reflect on values, maybe try vision boarding, daily meditation, or just noting things you're grateful for. And always seek honest feedback from people you trust. We all have blind spots.
So true.
The bottom line here is recognizing that life is a giant system. Everything affects everything else. It's about trade-offs, conscious choices. You always have choices. Where you are now is a result of past choices. That puts the power back in your hands, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, so for someone listening who feels off balance, maybe spread too thin across these dimensions, what are the concrete steps the source suggests to start shifting things?
It lays out a pretty clear process. First, just reflect honestly. How's the quality of your life right now? Then, list the areas or people that feel neglected. Why? Figure out where your time and energy actually go. Be honest. Which areas get the least? Then, visualize. What do you want life to look like in 6 months? Or even way down the line, age 70? Get a clear picture.
Creating that vision.
Exactly. Write a personal mission statement, what really matters to you. Ask for that honest feedback we mentioned. Maybe take some dedicated time off, even a short retreat, just for self-discovery. Keep journaling your thoughts. And finally, make an action plan. How will you start shifting time and energy towards what truly matters?
It sounds doable when broken down like that.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be drastic, like quitting your job tomorrow. It starts with conscious awareness, wanting to change, finding the courage and skills, and committing. Learning to detach a bit from others' emotional states, being patient with yourself, but also holding yourself accountable.
That balance again.
Okay.
Patience and accountability.
Right. Celebrate the wins, but stay watchful. Permanent change requires vigilance and persistence. And remember, perfect balance all the time, that's probably unrealistic. Temporary imbalance is normal. The danger is when it goes on for years, leading to that heavy price of regret.
That's a powerful reminder. Okay, we've covered personal balance, inner and outer life. Now let's connect the self-awareness piece to leadership. Dr. Ganduri argues it's not just nice to have for leaders, it's essential.
Absolutely. It's a foundation for what the source calls authentic leadership. This style is all about self-awareness, relational transparency, balanced decision-making, and strong moral values. It's about leading from who you genuinely are, with purpose, with integrity, turning good intentions into real impact, not putting on a leader mask.
Okay, and you mentioned 4 pillars for this.
Yes. First, self-awareness itself. Understanding your strengths, weaknesses, values. This comes from ongoing reflection journaling, assessments, feedback. Second, relational transparency. Being open, honest, admitting mistakes. Creating a space where feedback flows freely even when it's difficult. Sharing challenges.
Vulnerability, essentially.
Yes, appropriate vulnerability. Third, balanced processing. Considering different viewpoints, seeking diverse input, making fair, ethical choices, really listening, weighing options, even encouraging people to disagree constructively. And fourth, moral and ethical integrity. Holding yourself to high standards, doing what's right, not just what's easy. Having that strong moral compass guiding your actions.
So what does this do for a team or an organization when a leader operates this way? What's the real-world impact Dr. Ganduri points to?
The impact is significant. It starts with trust. That's the bedrock. Without trust, not much else works effectively. The source mentions Google's Project Aristotle. They studied successful teams, and a key factor was psychological safety. That feeling that you can speak up, take risks, make mistakes without fear. Authentic leaders foster that.
Makes sense. People feel safer.
Exactly. Which leads to higher employee engagement and motivation. People feel seen, valued, inspired. It creates a positive culture. This helps attract good people and keep them lower turnover. Authentic leaders also tend to be better at championing the team, valuing different perspectives, making sure everyone feels heard. Better ideas often come from that.
More inclusive.
Right. And finally, resilience, especially in tough times. The example given is the COVID-19 pandemic leaders who were open, honest, authentic about the challenges actually built more trust and engagement, even when things were difficult.
So being authentic isn't just a personal preference. It's a real leadership asset.
Absolutely. It builds stronger connections. People trust you more. You make better decisions because they're aligned with your values, not just expediency. You inspire others to be authentic too, which boosts morale and creativity across the board. And for the leader personally, it reduces stress and burnout. You're not constantly trying to be someone you're not.
So how do you cultivate this?
Consistent self-reflection, practicing that vulnerability we talked about, actively seeking out different views, staying grounded in your values, and developing your overall emotional intelligence. It's presented as a truly transformative force that unlocks leadership potential.
Fascinating. Okay, for our final section, let's tackle what might be the most mind-bending connection in the source material, this link between science and spirituality. Dr. Ganduri says they're like two sides of the same coin. How does she bridge that gap?
Well, it starts with a concept from physics that has huge implications. All matter is energy. Dr. Ganduri pulls quotes from some really heavy hitters in science to back this up. Einstein, obviously. All matter is energy. But also Nobel laureates in medicine like St. Georgi, who said treating people without considering energy is like treating dead matter.
Wow.
Yeah. And others like Professor Tiller predicting future medicine based on controlling energy fields, or Dr. Creel, founder of the Cleveland Clinic, talking about diagnosing disease via energy fields. Even quantum physicists like Gell-Mann saying body chemistry is governed by quantum fields. The idea is that energy is fundamental, underpinning the physical world and even our health.
So this isn't exactly brand new, but maybe quantum physics gives these older concepts a new standing. What does that mean for us, practically?
It changes how we might view things. Take the placebo effect. It's not just in your head. Research shows the brain actually produces chemicals in response to belief. The source suggests maybe miracles are just higher laws we don't fully understand yet.
Interesting perspective.
Right. And the idea that the universe isn't solid, it's vibrating energy appearing solid. This pushes medicine towards being more holistic, looking at the mind-body link much more seriously. The source quotes quantum physicist Ervin Laszlo talking about this emerging view where there's no separation between the physical, the living, and the world of mind and consciousness. Matter itself is becoming less fundamental in this view, secondary to energy. Laszlo says, at the deepest level, there is no substance.
That's a big thought. No substance. So Dr. Ganduri talks about this perceived gap, right, between the physical world out there and our thoughts in here. How does she challenge that?
She argues very strongly there is no gap. Instead, she proposes that consciousness itself is the vital force. It's the subjective field where both science and spirituality happen. And crucially, meaning itself isn't just abstract. It has energy, force, and agency. It has power. This concept, she notes, is similar to what Vedanta philosophy calls Sakti.
Okay, so if meaning has energy and consciousness is the field, where does that lead?
It leads to this pretty radical conclusion. Nothing exists outside meaning. In other words, nothing exists outside of consciousness.
Wow. Okay. How does that then tie into spiritual ideas?
Well, think about how many spiritual traditions talk about an ultimate reality, God, cosmic consciousness, the self. The source mentions phrases like, I am that I am, from Moses, or I am, from Sri Ramana Maharshi, as pointing to this ultimate self-reference. A state beyond thought, maybe. A formless state of meaning, a state of no mind. This is where the individual sense of self kind of dissolves or expands into the cosmic self.
So the implication is.
The implication is profound. We are therefore already connected to each other, to the environment. It's not something we need to build, it's already there. What we need is a conscious design to relearn about what is already there, to sort of come home to that inherent unity.
So the bridge between science and spirituality is our own experience and a shared search for truth.
Pretty much. Both rely on observation, on seeking truth, whether through external measurement or internal exploration. Shared commitment to truth, explored through subjective experience. The scientist looks outward, tracing things back to origins, to symmetry in the universe. The spiritual seeker looks inward, towards self-realization, towards unity. As the source puts it, the paths might look different, but the goal, realizing that underlying oneness, that symmetry, it's ultimately the same.
That provides a lot to think about. We've really covered some ground today, digging into self-awareness, those 11 dimensions for balancing inner and outer life, the power of authentic leadership, and this fascinating bridge between science and spirit.
Yeah, and it's important to remember this is an ongoing journey, right? Self-discovery isn't a one-time event. It's about continuously uncovering who you truly are, getting past the conditioning, the expectations, the external noise. Small, consistent steps, those simple practices we talked about, they really can lead to big shifts over time.
Definitely. So as a final thought for you, our listener, to maybe carry with you, if we accept this idea, even just hypothetically, that everything is connected, that we're energetic beings in a collective field, and that our experience reflects our inner state. What specific old mind conditioning, what habit of thought, or maybe lower negative vibration might you choose to consciously release today? What could you let go of to align more closely with a sense of purpose and maybe contribute positively to that unified field? Something to ponder. We really encourage you to keep exploring self-awareness in your own way. Remember, the source suggests the more you commit to knowing yourself, the more your life will reflect who you truly are.